I'm here in Mauritania. I was at the Richat a few days ago, and I'm still recovering from the jet lag of arriving here and being sleepy a lot. I did want to go over the trip with you and maybe take a quick look at some other information. If you didn't know, this map shows the ancient Tamanrasset River as it was coming right out here. Now, this is actually where I am down here. So it's all in Mauritania. You can see the Eye of Africa in this map, barely. You can see the ancient river. It doesn't get right next to it. But what you do get is some opportunities for canals to have brought the water over. And there are megalithic evidence of canals that exist on both sides. It's really one of the biggest megalithic pieces of evidence I can tell you, but I do have some great news to talk about today. As you know, if you know me, the quadrant in the southwest of the center island of the Richat, or the believed location of Plato's concentric circles, is missing this quadrant. And the question is, what happened to it? I believe that it's actually a crater that's filled in. I mean, if you look at this structure, it's almost perfectly round right there. Here are some other images of craters that have been filled in. You see the raised rim. This one, it's a little small. You can see what looked like alluvial fans going over the edge. This could be on Earth or Mars. I'm not sure. The other pictures we've got here, these are other filled in craters, and you can see there's breaches with the edges. This one is on Mars, but take a look at this chart here. This actually shows some things that I've seen here on Earth. The rays that occur around this so-called crater, it actually has quite a big diameter of reaction around the actual crater itself. You can see raised rims. So when we look at the pictures that you can easily see of this crater here, you can see the same thing. You can see the raised rims. I mean, what else would have created that? It's a floodplain inside. The salt that you see is evaporated over a long period of time. This was the new floodplain. It filled in with sediment, the sebket of Gelb, okay, of the heart. The heart is the Richat. Now, you can kind of see this raised rim kind of disappear under here, but this breach totally changes it. You've got a breach all the way around. You've got, look at this. You've got an entry point. That rim is showing right there. Is it a perfect circle? Craters don't have to be. This could have been at a weird angle and possibly even ejected from another impact of some sort. But to me, it looks like it was probably a comet fragment, if not. I mean, you had those come around the sun, and if they missed Earth, they might hit other planets. Now, I do want to talk about my trip. I'm going to get off this topic, but this is my belief that this flattened out circle ellipse was a crater. Randall Carlson called it a marred system displacement, a ring dike. But what happened to the mountains? This is not realistic. This is a magnetic. There's also this kimberlite plug thing. That's not very close. I'm not sure what any of that means, actually. And I would love to know. I'd love to know more about this stuff, which apparently shows evidence of rocks carved 150,000 years ago. But I also look at the Michael Hubner research on Atlantis and the idea that it was in Morocco. The Susa Massa region is so close to the eye that if you look at his logic, there's no reason why it couldn't have been right here, where the ancient river Tamanrasset gave access 400 kilometers in. Now, I did forget to mention Bright Insight did bring me here. I have to thank him for that. But I also want to make it clear, and it might sound a little shallow, that I definitely was looking at the Eye of Africa a long time before that. And I can show it because I have the evidence. So this is a Facebook post that you can still find that I did in 2009. Okay, this is before visiting Atlantis. I wrote in the post 12 years ago, I'm going to go to this geoform. Nobody knew. I said I want to go there on holiday in a 4-wheel drive, 2009. Okay, this is the truth. Okay, I definitely have to thank Jimmy for pointing out that this was Atlantis. He did it back when he only had 816,000 subscribers. And I did want to give him credit for that, but I also want to give myself credit. I've been interested in megalithic things for years and years and years. I'm going to talk about this later. Where's that picture here of me sitting on top of the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl? I was probably 2 or 3 years old, maybe 4. That's in Mexico City. I have pictures of myself at the well, I have pictures of a few places, but the place that I want to say is I've also been to the Stonehenge. I lost that picture of me there. I've been around the world, 30 countries. This was in Cambodia. No, this was in Laos. But I was also interested in Cambodia. I do have a picture of me there. I just don't want to pull it up. So I just want to say that this has been quite an adventure. And although I do have to thank Jimmy for it, it wasn't just all Jimmy. I just happened to discover him along the way. Here's my flight. I actually flew over the eye. We went down to Senegal, Guinea, and then turned around and came back up to Nouakchott. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the trip. I'm just trying to take it one step at a time. One thing I do have to disagree with Jimmy is the idea that the salt is there because of the floods. Any time you see salt on the ground, it's dried up and it's evaporated and it's become a white field, just like the subket of the Richat. And this isn't necessarily a salt plain, but the subket definitely is. There's no trees on it. There's nothing growing there, but water evaporates and leaves salt. It doesn't flood through. Now, with Randall Carlson, I do want to mention that the perimeter of the level plain that Plato wrote about was this big, and if you were to put it over the Azores, it would be this big. And as you can see, the ancient lines that are still there are easily detectable, didn't have any collapse of this type. And I didn't listen to, and I paid for it, the Plato revisit that he's done. However, and this kept popping up, I might as well go to it now. I did these screenshots of isostatic definition that he gave in his video just the other day, and I saw that, and I said, I got to go back and get a screen grab of isostasy, the vertical movement of the Earth's crust. Also, there's rebound or isostatic rebound where the crust rises, and then, of course, the opposite of that would be a depression. The reason why I bring this up is because I've got some exciting news. I'll put it here. This is the Arabic for the event. I have the transliteration or the pronunciation Berkan v Galup Richat. Berkan v Galup Richat. I said it better when I was repeating it. This is the Arabic. Somebody who can write that down in the comments. I mean, I guess I could figure out a way to get this in digitally. But the thing is that I asked him what happened, and he said there was an isostatic event focused on the river that ran from the mountains to the Richat to the Atlantic, and that an isostatic rebound of some sort brought the river and the two land masses together into one landmass and dried up the river. I said, when did this happen? I thought I was going to hear like 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, or millions of years ago, but the number that came out of his mouth was 12,000 years ago. So with this in mind, I want to introduce this new local legend that seems to correlate along with the Plato writings and the Egyptian legend. That's the big news for this video. I will talk a little bit about my trip right now. I don't know if I have any other pictures here that are important. Kind of looking real quick. I don't want to do too much editing. I just want to get this thing done. I guess the only other thing I haven't shown is the subsequent pictures underneath this. I wish it would. These are the global constraints to the location of Atlantis. Now, one thing I want to mention is when they talk about islands, from my understanding, the first set of Greek gods, one of them was the god of islands and water. I mean, come on, you've got the word islands used in the term of a continent. And with the fact that Plato wrote about the diver islands that were outside in the Atlantic, it kind of implies that the concentric circles he was referring to was not out in the middle of the Atlantic. In my opinion, this is what Plato said. My copies are a lot different. We'll go to the maps. Let's see. I think I'm done looking at Facebook, right? I just want to show you that picture. The Richat structure. I did visit it. I went here. I went right by here. There's some other areas. Yeah, I wouldn't call this salt. It's very hard. This I would say is salt, but I don't know if you can call these white lines salt. And even if they were, they're dried up water. They're not moving floods of water. There's stagnant lakes of water that are drying up. I also believe the same thing happened along the north edge. There's dried up lakes. And the edge of the lake, we have a shoreline on the south, but we don't have a shoreline on the north because it's covered in sand. And that happens all the way along. You can see this ancient body of water here. It's very low. It's about 1,000 feet difference, if not more, at that spot. I did actually drive over this shoreline, and I didn't realize it. It was right here. See, here's the road that I followed. Now, I'll take you all the way to Nouakchott to show you. And I'm going to talk about a few things. Yeah, I drove the whole way there. So Nouakchott, you drive this N1 road straight out into the middle of the desert. You do see camels and goats and lots of buildings. And then you kind of go through the sandy area here. I guess this is kind of the sandy area where you really don't have anything. And then you're not on sand. It's a nice asphalt road. Then you get back into this. Now, this is the beginning of the harder ground right here. And I want to talk about that, what I saw, and I can show it to you in the videos. Here's some of the, I guess, wow, that's the mining town. I remember it now. Talking about the mining, and I didn't know what mine it was. It's the Mauritanian copper mines, the MCM. So, yeah, that was, and there's an airport right there. Interesting. So see, I need to start looking at these roads because I couldn't find any roads going to my next desired destination. So we came through here and we got to Atar. So when we get to Atar, that's when things change. Where's Atar? There it is up there. So we started to get into these mountains a little bit, and you can really see these plateaus. They're so tall, they're so big. But you know what? They're made of slate. They're crunched up slate. You can see the layers on the side. And then when you get to the top, and this is where we did go there by when we reached Atar, that's when the road pretty much turned into a dirt road. I did have a little bit of cement in these mountains here, but this area was dirt. And going through here is all dirt. And you can see the mountains very close. And when you start to climb the mountain, there's cement roads. They didn't want them to turn into dust, I guess. But then when you get back up to the top of the mountain here, it's a dirt road again. Now, honestly, when I first did it, I had no idea where I was. I didn't have my GPS working well. I didn't have internet, so I couldn't zoom in. But I went across here. Now, this is the shame, right? Because I really wish that I had been able to come over and look off this cliff down at this valley to see how deep that looked. Now, we could see the place where Chingedi separates from the road that leads towards Wadan and Chingedi, and I guess this other little, what is this? Another little city. I did not go there. I did not go there. It's a dried river. You can see that the city doesn't stay in the sandy, it stays on the mountain or the hillside. Nobody builds anything out in the sand here. You can see some farming maybe, but you don't really see the houses. The houses are on the strong foundation. When you go back up to the road, I just want to say this whole area here, it looks like sand, but what it really is it's like slate. Yeah, there's a lot of sand, but you're talking about a slate foundation, just like this whole area. When you drive past it, you can see it in the videos I posted. You can see the slate crunched up, and basically when you're driving on top of it, you can see the slate or other rocks on the top. Sometimes you have quite the hard shell. And that's the big difference that you see. Now we're going up towards Wadan. I was in these mountains and I didn't realize it. I thought that I was here because it was the desert. I thought these mountains would be a little different. So I didn't realize that where I was when we were driving got so close to the other side. In addition to that, we got so close to this structure here. I don't know what I could have proved if I had gotten out of the car and seen it, but look how close I was. And that would have been a real cool thing to go check out. And then we came back down the hill over here, crossed some sand. I do remember that part because I thought, wow, are we in the desert? And then suddenly the mountains, we're back in the sand again. Got a little confusing. So we arrived in Wadan. It was after dark, so we just stayed at the hotel. Of course, we didn't go anywhere. Now, I was talking about the north side of the city up here when I did a bunch of videos on that, and I think those are quite interesting. This area is just as interesting as the old area, which is over here. Now, I have to be honest, I didn't even go up here to the Fortif, and I do regret that. I should have gone over there, but it was down. I didn't want to climb down the mountain to get to it, and I did always have a time issue. So it's called the Via Historique de Wadan, and I'm going to probably, where is the more info on this? Add this to a couple of posts. Not too much in here about it, but that's where I had to stay for 2 nights. One the day before I went to the Richat, and the one the day after, and I went straight to sleep. I was just so drained of all my energy. Now, what's next? I do want to mention first, before we continue, that when I went to the Richat, we drove this way, and I was worried we were inside here. Now, I don't know if we were inside there and went over it, but I feel like we didn't because but it just seemed like we were over here and we didn't get back out there. I've been kind of curious about this sharp area here. Is that some type of a canal inlet? Well, I don't think so, because this rock is so hard. If there was a canal there, it wouldn't have resealed unless something vitrified it and soldered it together again. So I'm not a big believer that this is a man-made structure anymore. When I first looked at it, I thought, wow, that's rather straight. Maybe it's a canal inlet. But there's always a chance things got tumbled around. But in my opinion, if these buildings were all built in the 1100s, which is not necessarily true, especially these older ones, if this jungle of stone, now that I look at it, I can see it's actually quite peaceful looking up here. But when you're walking through it, you're seeing definitely chaos and cataclysmic destruction, not like what happened to Atlantis, but so we're in the mountain up here. I think this is even the hotel right there. That looks like my hotel. That's it. That's the hotel. And you can see the road go down this little hill. So we got in the morning, got in the truck, drove down the hill, and we drove through here. We didn't go back past the police station. We drove through here. We drove this way. Not sure where the road is, but we got through here, and suddenly we were in the middle of the sand. I don't think we were in this yard, so we must have been on the other side here. And I really feel like we came through here. We were in the sand. I do not know how I got past this, because I was looking for it. I don't remember driving through there, but I don't think I drove up this way either. Like I said, we didn't have a very good GPS working for us. So we couldn't get this close. It was a lot more backed off. I don't remember this at all. If we drove over it or past it, it happened very quickly. I mean, let's see how far that is from Wadane right there, just to check. If going down the mountain is here. Over to here was just 3 kilometers. Yeah, I guess we could have passed it in 3 kilometers. It's not even 2 miles, so I just don't remember seeing this part. But then suddenly here we were in the middle of the sand, and we were about out here. We weren't over here along the mountain. We were out in the middle of the sand, and this is 10 miles from here to the edge. And it got a little bit less sandy around here. But out here, we were driving through pure sand, and it was very, definitely a challenge for me to stay calm, because I know what getting stuck in the sand is like. And during this trip, we did get stuck in the sand, but it didn't happen until our way back. Actually, it happened about here on the way back. And the key is you don't stop. You don't stop when you're driving through sand. Now, when we got here, there started to be people living, herds, camels, goats running around. And I do believe that the place we crossed through is here. I'm looking for those triangles. Those triangles are... See, you see a lot of mounds now. I'm seeing all the mounds. And I do believe those are burial mounds of some sort, but not just a typical burial. It's like for someone important, these mounds. I'm still looking for those triangles. Where did they go? I think I was right here, but these triangles, I wanted to take a quick look at them. We drove up in here, and the sales ladies had their stuff out right about here. I haven't really done this since I've been back, so I'm kind of getting distracted looking at stuff. Now, I do not recall this white patch coming through. I remember going up into the mountain. I guess the sales ladies were here. Then we went up into the mountain and then back down again. And suddenly we were in a very vast, vast open sea of, and the rings were some of them were very prominent. This is where the decision to say this is natural comes in. Now, I would have liked to have seen what those things are. I didn't notice them. Not sure, but this is very flat. I'm pretty sure you could call that a salt flat. I mean, honestly, it looks like it from the sky, but I don't remember going through it. And I do remember hitting some rings, though. And you couldn't just drive over them quickly. It was like trying to drive over an old railroad track quickly. The slate would be up above the sand, and it would be in a ring. It would be like there's no way that was done by man. So this is where we have to get into an alternative theory about how this thing was created. Now, I also don't think that you're looking at a dome geology either. It's just a little bit too big, and it's a little bit too weird. Most of the domes that we see are either in volcanoes or in a volcanic area. This was a nice mountain before it got breached. So the big question is how did this happen? Now, I do have some questions about Carrington events, possibly creating these things. What is this? Okay, no, I've shown that. I don't want to show anything more. I kind of wanted to give you a taste of this. And by the way, this is going up on the non-Westus Atlantis because I'm still working on making a nice edited version that's just 10 minutes long, not me rambling on for an hour. And it takes a lot of production time and editing. So this goes on the David Stig Hansen. What else was I going to say? Okay, yeah, I did visit the castle. Okay, I'm not sharing those pictures just yet for various reasons, like 10,000 of them. I do remember driving and seeing these trees, and I know that there's an antiquity here somewhere. This is like a little mountaintop. Okay, this is like slate. Like there's rocks everywhere on here. And then this is the sand. And there was some type of antiquity going on here that I guess there's just little stone structures. And I'm not sure if it's a burial zone or what, but it's very peaceful. But we went to look for the castle, and I knew it was slightly farther south of that point. But what had happened was we went this way, and we went down, down, down to a place that had a ridge of white rocks. I'm not seeing it. Maybe that kind of looks like it. And I knew that we missed it. And I said, no, we got to turn around. And when we turned around, you could see a little plateau. This is on top of a hill. This is when you're on top of the castle, you're looking down on all sides. You're looking down at these trees. The trees are kind of far. So you're looking down at this area here. You're up on a hill. That's why it was built there. And the pictures of that will come soon. Then the next stop we wanted to make, it was directly east, and there it sat on that spot right there. So I thought we could just drive that way, but that didn't work out. And there's a video that I did where we were discovering that. The rocks were just too sharp. And I wanted to get over this little ridge and get down, but it was just too... And I always thought it looked like there was roads coming through here that you could use. But when we were sitting up there, not on the castle itself, but over here trying to get over these, I couldn't get down on this side because I thought this was a nice little path going that way. But it was just too steep right here. And so we ended up going all the way back around, believe it or not. We came back here and we were driving, and I was looking for a road. There are no roads at all. Not sure where that was hiding because we drove right by it. I guess it was on the other side of the mountain. This is a circular mountain. So we finally ended up and realized that we were right by the way we came in. So we came back through. We saw the ladies selling stuff. Went over the second mountain, saw the ladies selling stuff, and then we drove this way. And this is where the GPS came in really handy. Now, it really was a kind of a weird area. But what I was looking for were these darker mountains. What's this? See, I don't recall this. Okay, yeah, we went there. Wait, that doesn't look right, though. That doesn't look right. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of this, but it looks a little different from what I have. I do have a quick video. I called it not the castle, but on the way to the temple. So, but it just feels like there's something missing. There's like another building in the middle here that's missing. So I don't know if that's it. I do have an image of something. Yeah, we drove by that. I tried to stay on top of these because getting in the sand was a little rough. Whenever you had what looked like a river, it got rough. Very difficult to go through there, but we would make it slowly. And I tried to get back on top of here. Not here. We never drove on top of this. We drove on these colored areas here, on and off. There's a lot of names here. I didn't know they had these names. And it was about 20 miles. It was about 20 kilometers, driving. And every time we were usually on top of these things because it was a lot harder and nicer than being in the sand. However, sometimes it would get a little steep and we'd have to go back around and come back off of it. And then we'd have to cross the lighter part, the river, dried river. Going through these were a lot tougher. And I would yearn to get back to it didn't look blue. It looked like a dark stone. And I kept checking the GPS and told them, okay, we got just 1 more kilometer, and we made it finally. And there we were at the unknown structure here. I feel like we entered right here. So I guess the car came this direction, and we entered right here. We weren't here. I could be wrong about that because there was one point when he pulled the truck up to about here, but it was rough because it was a lot of sharp rocks there. Now this right here, once I discovered what this was made of, and I'm going to show the videos, I decided I'm not going to go looking for this at all because I couldn't see it. Visually, I couldn't see anything, but they look like they're just sandy mounds. And also over here, there's a couple of others that had been built up, and I couldn't visually see those either. But I was in such the mood that I decided it was over, and we took the photos of the unknown structure here, and we had to go. It was time, and we had just crossed 20 kilometers with no road at all. There was really no road. Sometimes we would find some ridges, but they would go in a different direction and disappear. So this part was the hardest part of the trip. And that's why when we got back here, I was falling asleep. I think I fell asleep right here. It was so soft and smooth. There was no bumps. But there was a point when the driver saw something in the road that he decided he wanted to grab. It was just a piece of slate, but he stopped. He got out. He got that slate, and when he got back in, the truck wouldn't move. He had to dig the sand out from under the tires. I was about ready to get my hands dirty as well, and I didn't, because what he did actually worked. He backed up and he kept backing up, and I don't know, got to a point where he found a more solid piece of sand where he could stop and start going straight again. So my advice to you is you never stop in the sand while you're driving. I'm not sure if the Toyota Hilux, Hilux, was an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive. From my understanding, all-wheel drive is better than four-wheel drive. I have to look that up and we'll find out. Okay, guys, I think I'm done for now. That's my update about the trip. And the next question is what is next? Am I going to go back out? And at this time, I'm trying to figure out a way to get over here. I'm looking for some roads. There's no roads. And when I tried to get it done last time, I was going to go do it. I was told that you definitely needed a second truck for this type of trip. So I need to have 2 trucks, and they both have to, I don't know, we have to find some roads. Like, I believe that the Wadane going this way would be a mistake. Going out this way would be a mistake. Going in this way would be better. Going through here would be a lot stronger. There must be a road. So I'm back to looking like, is that a road or is that a river? That looks like a road, to be honest. It looks like an animal trail. Those are animal trails. But to me, that looks like it would be a good road. I'm about to meet some people who may have done this. That looks like a good road right there, huh? Because I'll tell you what, you can't take a river. The river's going to be too much messed up, and you have to have a road that someone's going to follow. So, you know, I think this is it right here. But then here, look at this. Not going to get through there. If you are, you're going to have a very slim little chance. Yeah, and by the way, we haven't even hit this is the desert area up there. That's probably no problem, and I think it's vitrified enough you don't have to worry about sand. There's some sand. I mean, some of it is sand. There's no dunes. And then, you know, I always assumed there was a road going through here, but now I've found that there is no road. It's just pure desert 4-bying off-road. So I'm looking for that. If anybody has any clues, let me know. Thank you very much. And I will try to turn this into a shorter video for the other channel. do subscribe when the castle and the other kind of hinge thing comes out. Then it'll be on the other channel. This channel, it won't be here. So we'll see if I ever get it done. I want it to be good. Though, yeah, there were some interesting things found. You can check out my personal Facebook for a lot of photos, and the videos, of course, are in my channel. Thank you very much. That's a good picture right there, eh? Have a nice day. I'm going to shut this down now. Bye-bye.